Welcome back to another exciting episode of MOD. I'm Kevin Hynes. Here in round number 24, the season is winding down. We've got 2 rounds left remaining in the season. Rick Swanson, obviously a shoo-in for the championship, but you never know what's going to happen here in these final 2 rounds. Big story of the day, Dan Runte and the Bigfoot team joining us for the final 2 rounds of competition. With a 7-truck field, it's going to be pretty tough out there for these guys to take first place. Let's run down and look at our field of drivers for tonight's event.
Anytime you're in, true competition, I like to do it, and it's, just basically shows who's got the better equipment or who's faster that one particular weekend. I mean, who won last weekend, majority of it, doesn't mean who's going to win this weekend, and that's the cool part about it. And because, the air is different. We're in New Mexico, so considerably higher in altitude than what we were down in Del Rio, and that's going to change everybody's engine and who's a better tuner. That's what it comes down to, I think. I would love to be able to compete and to be in the top at least with the championship points. I mean, not to say that we're going to win it, because like I said, everybody's is good on a certain day, and but I would like to be right there, to put pressure on the guy that is on top if it's not me.
It's going to be like any other weekend. It's going to be a lot of high-flying, fast trucks this weekend. So Rick's been working all year long, I hear. So coming out here running against him and keeping up with him is a challenge. But the Flame Motorsports team is doing all they can to try and beat him. Every weekend's pressure. I mean, our sponsors, they push us all year long. MSD does, Awesome Racewear. They want to see us in the winner's circle, so that's what we do every weekend, no matter what show it is. It's a great circuit so far that we've seen, and actually got to participate in this last few shows. So if we get to run the whole season next year, it's going to be, better watch out for us. We're going to be running for it.
At the beginning of the year, pretty much what we had done is freestyle, going out, wheelies, jumping, van stacks, buses, and I had that down pretty good. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, but I hadn't really raced more than a dozen times or half dozen times. Since we started the MOD, each weekend we come out, we learn something, we'd go home, we'd modify, change things. I like the track. I think it's going to be a good track. I'm hoping for a good weekend.
I got this little motor against these big guys over here, so I'm just going to go out and do my best and at least make it look respectable if I can.
We'd like to finish out on a good note and see if we can't come in and win those last 2 events and leave here with 4 wins and re-gear and get ready for 2007. You got to be able to drive the truck to get it down the track, and I think it makes for more competitive in the trucks. Those that don't have as much horsepower, it kind of brings the playing table a little bit leveler for them, to where it doesn't become just a money issue. The guy with the most money and the best equipment wins all the time.
We would like to definitely win this with at least one win this weekend. Taking the championship this year is a great achievement. We're really proud of it. As we said earlier, we dedicated it to my father that passed away last Father's Day. We said we were going to do it. Being able to do it was a huge achievement. It was very hard. Very few drivers can come in, keep their equipment going, keep the mental state you have to be going to the line. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of maintenance on the vehicles and just a lot of physical drain on yourself.
There's a lot of R&D that goes into these Bigfoot trucks, and it puts us up there where we can do this as long as we keep it together. I mean, as a driver and a team, and we've been doing that a lot here lately. We're getting back to the team thing and working a lot on that and concentrating on that, and hopefully it'll all work out.
Welcome to Roswell, New Mexico. Rick Swanson on top of our straight line standings with 429 in the points, followed by Samson, Dragon Slayer, Natural High, and Spider-Man. 6th place belongs to Dan Runte and Bigfoot, followed by Iron Outlaw, Public Disturbance, Monster Moose, and Monster Jerky rounding out the top 10. Taking a look at our obstacle course standings after 23 rounds, Swanson on top there as well with 468. Followed by Samson, Dragon Slayer, Natural High, and Spider-Man. Runte also 6th place in this one as well, followed by Monster Jerky, Public Disturbance, Iron Outlaw, and Bounty Hunter rounding out the top 10 there as well. It is time to kickstart this thing up. It's ready to go qualifying for Rick Swanson and the number 95 Obsession. Craig Christensen and Dragon Slayer going to be out there as well. You can see not necessarily racing, but does give us a good preview of what's going to be taking place. So here we are, Roswell, New Mexico. Look at Christensen. Oh, and Swanson knocks the barrel loose. Almost like watching a bull go for a matador. Dragon Slayer with a 4.6, Swanson a 4.8. And a look at that timing equipment. That is what makes this MOD series so awesome, is being able to tell the times at the end. Luckily, his front end crossed that timing equipment before he knocked it over, which allowed us to get him a good, valid first run time. But Rick Swanson just decided, I think I'm just going to beat it up. You know, it's the final 2 rounds of the year. No big deal. But Raymer going out in the natural high against Matt Powers and Shattered. Here we are across the line. Raymer almost hitting the timing gear as well. Boy, these guys are a little out of control early tonight, as Raymer with a 4.901, Shattered a 7.449 for Matt Powers in that machine. So here we are, Darren Basel and El Matador coming out for qualifying. Now remember, our drivers each get 2 qualifying passes, 1 in each lane. And we take the faster of the 2 times and put them into brackets. David Smith and King Crunch, his teammate and his opponent, all in one shot here. And Crunch is off the line quick and need to make sure it's not a red light. It was a red light. Matador going to walk away with a 5.074 qualifying time. Don't think that's enough to get him lane choice or anything in the first round, but we'll find out here momentarily. Dan Runte in Bigfoot. That Summit Bigfoot is an interesting truck. Totally different tread patterns than anyone else, and look at him just tear off the line. I think this is going to be a good night. A 4.559 for Runte in Bigfoot, proving that he is back. Now let's move on to our second round of qualifiers. Christensen and the Dragon Slayer again going up against your 06 leader, Rick Swanson in the Fabtech Obsession. And so remember, they are shooting for a faster time than the first time around even, and Christensen getting a little bit of a run there. It looks like Swanson had the faster time with a 4.546, man, barely by 0.04 of a second. Christensen a 4.586. Well, they're both looking for that fast qualifying time. In a 7-truck field, you automatically advance to the semifinals if you have the fastest qualifying time. So a great run by both of those competitors, 0.04 of a second separating them. Now we're on to Shattered and Natural High going head-to-head here in qualifying. Natural High a little slow off the get-go there. I thought for a second Powers was going to have a quicker time in Shattered, but no, Natural High with a 5.563. Matt Powers in Shattered a 5.826. Actually a pretty dang good run for that Jeep. He's starting to get a little bit better at his trade as a monster truck driver. David Smith and King Crunch going to be going up against his Flame Motorsports teammate again, El Matador, which is Darren Basel. Both of these guys coming out of Spring, Texas, not too far from home, and King Crunch is off the line quick. Said, dude, this is what racing's going to be like. 4.824 for Smith and King Crunch. Matador with a 5.687. Now, I do want to note that Matador had some mechanical difficulties back in round 22. And so we'll be interested to see how the truck is doing out here, as the following weekend they came out here to Roswell, New Mexico. Bigfoot coming out of the gate right now. Dan Runte, a great driver of this Summit Bigfoot machine, a 4.605. I do not believe that bests his first round time. So it looks like Obsession is going to remain on top with a 4.5. Dan Runte following in Bigfoot. Dragon Slayer in third, King Crunch fourth, Natural High in fifth, and rounding out the 7 trucks is El Matador in sixth, and Matt Powers in Shattered with a 5.826. All right, checking in now with heat number 1. Kevin Hynes here with Monsters of Destruction. Dan Runte in Bigfoot, one of the first drivers out, going up against Matt Powers in Shattered. Now, Rick Swanson in Obsession had a fast enough time to advance to semifinals, so we'll not be seeing him here in the first round. Bigfoot is off and running, and school is once again in session as Dan Runte re-enters the circuit with a Bigfoot truck of 4.579 against Matt Powers' 6.131 in the Shattered truck. Let's take a look at this replay. Bigfoot very quick off the line, a very stable truck. And I tell you what, that team has sure got it together out of St. Louis, Missouri. They've really got Dan dialed in. He's been driving for Bigfoot for dang near 20 years now, I think. It's been a long time. And look at that reaction time, a .128. Man, just barely over a tenth of a second. So Runty has got these lights down. That's one of the things that he prides himself on, is being able to catch those lights right off the bat.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. Back with more after these words.
In 1970 and 71, Johnny Lightning won back-to-back Indy 500 races. Johnny's back. All the classics you remember in 100% real metal, the ultimate in authentic replicas. And the triumphant return of Johnny Lightning Toys, monster trucks loaded with play features, exclusive Super Bounce tires, real working suspension, and exploding bodies. Johnny Lightning's back, and he beats them all.
I can still go to
The trick with the Cyclone is, like here, you got areas of the track that bite hard and areas that don't. You have to have the rear end and stuff that's all locked up. And once you get into getting enough speed to actually get it to start swapping ends and getting the suspension so you're actually biting on the ground, biting hard. Once it bites good and you're swapping ends, it's a fun ride. When you find that perfect balance and you're not touching the wheelie bar and you're keeping it vertical, you know, I get relaxed up there and it's fun. I stick my hand out the window and wave at the crowd while I'm going. You know, and there's times I'd love to just keep it going for a long period of time. It's just a neat feeling getting it balanced in that perfect balance.
So now we're going to move on to heat number 2. David Smith in King Crunch out. He is going to be doing battle with Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, which has become a force to be reckoned with here in the latter MOD season of 06. Let's take a look at these two competitors. Crunch is off and running. Look at that, Crunch with the advantage. Raymer is on the gas, and here they go across the line. A 4.853 for Crunch. Gonna better the time of Natural High, which was 4.917. Going back now to King Crunch's run right there, man. They were side by side coming to the line. Very close race for both of these drivers. Raymer right there let off the gas a little bit too much and allowed David Smith to get just that little bit of an edge. Raymer had the reaction time almost 0.2 of a second off of the light. And there you can see it in slow-mo across the line. Almost a full tire for David Smith and King Crunch as he takes the victory. So King Crunch going to move on to semifinals, as we got more racing yet to come. Heat number 3, Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer. He's got a tough road ahead of him out here tonight after having trouble in Del Rio, Texas. He's back here in Roswell, and a very, very fast truck. Darren Basel and El Matador, these two are going to go head-to-head right now in Heat 3. Christensen is off the line first. Christensen is way out in front, and Darren Basel, it appears that El Matador is again suffering from mechanical difficulty. I kind of wonder if it's inside that transmission again. Those can be very tough to fix properly, and especially when you subject them to 1,000 to 1,500 horsepower every weekend. So there, Christensen taking this one by storm. Both drivers good reaction times off the light, a quarter second or less for both drivers. And you can see Darren Basel is disappointed as he comes across the line, and El Matador, that has got to be tough. So semifinals shaping up to be very interesting as Dragon Slayer gonna do battle with your 06 points leader Rick Swanson in Obsession. So here we come into semifinals. Dan Runty in Bigfoot has got his first good challenge of the evening out here for semis. David Smith and King Crunch. This is going to be a tough run. Both drivers very competitive. Both have been driving for a long time. And the light goes green. Runty is off the line quicker. He's got the hammer down. Bigfoot stomping it out with a 4.255. Crunch with a 4.600. Man, Bigfoot is just fast tonight. Let's take a look at this replay. Runty, just a flawless run. I don't think it can get much better than that. Most of it, look at that, a .029 reaction time. Dang near perfect right out of the gate, hitting that green light. Now, of course, between the staging beam and the light trigger, there is an 18-inch staging area, so that means that Dan Runty has already pressed the gas pedal before the green light hits, and by the time the power transfers gets to the wheels and gets him across that beam, it is just barely after the green light. You got to hand it to him. It takes a lot of practice, so Runty is going to move on to the final round. Craig Christensen and Dragon Slayer are going to do battle with Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession. We get to watch this battle firsthand right now as two MOD champions go head-to-head here in semifinals. Christensen is off the line. Obsession got the hammer down, but Christensen is faster, it appears. 4.231, and Obsession with a 4.568. So Dragon Slayer and Bigfoot both ran 4.2 second runs. This is going to be a heck of a final coming here your way in just a moment. Dragon Slayer, there you can see through the replay, a .14 reaction time, very close to Runty's and Bigfoot as well. And Rick Swanson and Obsession a little slower on the reaction time, but not quite as fast across this course. And that is going to be a heck of a showdown.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. Back with more after these words.
Let's check in on the showdown right now, as there you see Christensen, your 2005 MOD champion, going up against the World Monster Truck long jump record holder, Dan Runty, and the Summit Bigfoot. And here we go, as we're about ready to go green. Here we go. The trucks are rolling. Christensen is fast, but Runty is on the gas. And who's it going to be? Dragon Slayer, a 4.295 by a half of a second, beats Dan Runty and Bigfoot, a 4.359 for Runty. A very quick run for both of our drivers here tonight. Look at that replay. Christensen is on the gas non-stop from start to finish. Look at the point of view camera there. Approaching that fence mighty quickly, as you can see Runty there on the side of your screen. But look at Bigfoot's time. Before we saw .029, now it's down to .021. I wonder, can Dan Runty get any better at timing those MOD lights on that NHRA style of tree? So there you can see it right across the finish line. Dragon Slayer a little bit crooked, but faster nonetheless. Man, oh man, what a great straight line drag. So that's going to put Christensen up on top in Dragon Slayer, followed by Runty and Bigfoot, Obsession, King Crunch, Natural High, and rounding out our field of 7 trucks is going to be Matt Powers in Shattered and Darren Basel in El Matador, who is suffering from mechanical problems right now. So let's take a look at our standings after 24 rounds thus far this season. Obsession with 449, Dragon Slayer in second, Samson in third, Natural High fourth, Spider-Man in fifth, Bigfoot 6, Iron Outlaw 7th, followed by Public Disturbance, Monster Moose, and Monster Jerky. Let's run down and talk to our winning drivers.
All right, Dan, well, I know that we've talked so far this season about how exciting it is to have you here in the finals of the MOD Championship Series. And, great job. 6 thousandths of a second. Less than that, in fact, was the difference between you and Christensen.
Yeah, Craig's a tough one, He is every time you come out here. You got to run it for everything it's worth. And I just took a bad bounce over the first bump, and that's all it takes on this. And we got to give that one to him fair and square.
That's right. So what are the key points in this Roswell course? Where are the technicalities that can make or break the run?
Actually, the starting bump down there, it's throwing everybody a lot worse than we thought it was going to, the other guys are talking about it back in the pits as well, and it's just an obstacle that you got to get over to get the truck back on the ground and make it to the finish line. So that's the tough part. We work on a little bit more tomorrow, and we'll get her back.
Right on. Dan, it's great to have you out here. Congratulations, and good luck out there in obstacle course as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Roswell.
All right, Craig. Well, I know we've talked before about how tough these guys are to knock off and be on top of the winner's circle, but despite circumstances that had dragged you down before you came to Del Rio, Texas, you came out, you proved why you were the 05 Series champion.
Well, exactly. And those of you that don't know, we had a tire fire. It burned the trailer, burned the side, is shattered. He traveled down with me. It's burned up all of our sponsor flags. I have to apologize to Tough Country. We normally run flags on, but all they are is burned offerings. The whole side of the trailer is burned up. We had to put 2 sheets of plywood just to get down here to the show. We're trying to get around, each round we can to get into the winning circle.
That's right. Well, Craig, despite luck, you've proven that you've got the skill and you've got everything that it takes to make you a winner. And congratulations on you and Dragon Slayer and the Tough Country team being on top.
Thank you very much. And you haven't seen anything yet. We still got the turning course, and you still got freestyle.
So there you have it. Craig Christensen very happy with the win after the trouble that he had down in Del Rio. So now we're going to move on to obstacle course racing. Round number 1 features this man, Matt Powers in Shattered, going up against Dan Runty and Bigfoot, a force to be reckoned with here over the entire 06 season of MOD. Every round that Runty has competed in, he has been either on top or up in the top 3, and we expect no less from him this time around. Runty coming through there, as you can see, all the way across to the finish line. It's just a single J-hook course, 1 pass down, 1 pass back. And there you can see Bigfoot with a 10.365. Shattered would have had a 14.7, however, with a 2-second penalty that he incurred not being able to hit that obstacle with all 4 tires. That makes a huge difference in their time. Here we're watching Runty's replay right now on the Summit Bigfoot. A nice, clean run, very quick, very crisp, and a good reaction time by Dan, less than a 1/4 second once again. Matt Powers and Shattered right there. It was a little bit sideways. That was the jump that he missed with the right side tires. And so up and over the cars he goes. Even if he had been ahead of Runty at that point, would not have mattered, because that 2-second penalty will take care of the rest as far as the time clock is concerned. So Runty is going to advance to semifinals.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky and by Monstrous Displays.
And moving on to heat number 2 now. Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, the number 18 machine. He's been doing great so far in the latter half of the season. David Smith and King Crunch is who he is pitted against right now. For heat number 2 of obstacle course, they both run the same direction. Up and over the roller they go. They've got 1 corner, another roller, and a set of cars. So here we're rolling through there. Oh, and Raymer misses the jump. Crunch goes over unannounced right over the finish line, 11.205. And Raymer with a 13.425. 2-second loss by Raymer. That is awful tough for Raymer to miss an obstacle. Is actually kind of an abnormal thing here on Monsters of Destruction. David Smith drops the hammer down, a great drive all the way through, powers it through all the way through the finish line. Natural High up and over, a great shot here. Runs the corner good, but runs it wide, got on the gas a little too soon and missed that jump, and that is what cost him the race right there. So unfortunately a loss for Kelvin Raymer in Natural High. I don't believe it's going to be enough here tonight. We'll have to find out come freestyle time to see what he's got in store, but you never know what to expect from Kelvin Raymer. So there's David Smith and King Crunch advancing into semifinals. He is going to face off with Dan Runty and Bigfoot come semifinal time. But we have got another heat coming your way right now. Heat number 3 is Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer. This is going to be a very interesting run. Darren Basel and El Matador, as we had mentioned earlier, suffering from some mechanical difficulty. Don't know if that truck is going to hold together right now or not. It appears to be very slow off of the line. He has to baby it right now. We did smell some of that burnt transmission smell earlier. Oh, but look at this Christensen off of the track. El Matador. Oh my goodness, what an upset victory. An 11.367 for El Matador Dragon Slayer. A 13.085, and that one is going to go down in the books. Look at this. El Matador, not even enough power to spin the tires. He gave it very little throttle coming off the get-go there. There he sees the Christensen the sideways, and he drops the hammer. He said, you know what, the heck with it. And man, oh man, running a 4:28 reaction time from Basil and El Matador. Dragon Slayer was right on the cuff there. .23, less than a quarter of a second, but that jump right there just completely threw him sideways. And at that point, Christensen had already known that he had lost that race. A very tough break for Christensen, but nonetheless, Darren Basel and El Matador is going to advance into the semifinals. Here's how your heat number 4 is going to look. Rick Swanson in Obsession, going to be running by himself. Going to be kind of a bye run for him out here in the machine. Up and over the roller he goes. Now he does have to run for time because time means lane choice come semifinal time. And there we go, up and over the finish. Oh, and he hits the timing equipment again. Rick just likes to aim for that barrel, I think. So an 11.546 for Swanson in Obsession. And let's take a look at this replay. Up and over the roller he goes, bouncing a little bit, a little wide on the corner. You can see they're very close to the fence when they wing it around there. Swanson hits that one good, gets a little crooked off the jump, and the back tire just does a little kick and just sends the timing equipment flying like a couple of rodeo clowns that just got hit by a bull. Look at that, just flying through the air. So always some entertainment here on Monsters of Destruction. There you see trying to get the timing equipment back up and running. One of the MOD officials. So El Matador going to face off with Obsession come semifinal time. So we got some great semifinal action coming your way right now. David Smith in King Crunch is going to do battle with Dan Runte in Bigfoot. So this matchup going to be very quick. It's going to run by fast. Bigfoot, a very fast driver. King Crunch also fast on the course. But look at that. Runte is off the line quick. I'm not sure if he ran a red light that time or not, but he's around the corner. You'll notice that Runte slows down for that corner and just drops the hammer after he clears into the straight. And no, a 10.097, the fastest time of the night for Dan Runte and Bigfoot Crunch with a 12.238. Nowhere near Runte come the finish line. Let's take a look at this flawless run by Runte. Look at this, just tucks it right around the inside, no spin in the tires. It's kind of like the old adage goes when you're racing, any kind of NASCAR or go-karts or anything. If you hear the rubber squealing, that means you're going too fast. And that right there was a proven fact. Runte not allowing the tires to slip around the corner by going slow gained him a lot of time out here on this course. And I think he might just be the man to beat out here tonight. There you see the finish line cam, the gap between Bigfoot and Crunch. So Dan Runte and the Summit Bigfoot team once again are going to the big show in the final round.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky and by Monstrous Displays.
Your other semifinal matchup coming to you right now. Rick Swanson in the Fabtech Obsession machine. Going to be doing battle against Darren Basel and El Matador. I'll be interested to see what happens here. All that has to happen is Swanson just has to make a mistake. Basel will capitalize on it. And this could be an interesting race. Swanson is around the inside. He's got the hammer down. Trying to... Oh, and Matador missed the ramp. Swanson is going to hang on for this one. A 10.719, only a half a second behind Bigfoot. El Matador with an 11.330. But that's going to be enough to put Rick Swanson in the final round in a great matchup against Dan Runte in Bigfoot. Two world-class drivers joining us right here in Roswell, New Mexico. There you see Swanson's replay run as he comes across the line. A nice clean run as he almost puts it in reverse to try and get it stopped. Swanson and El Matador almost identical reaction time. 0.05 of a second difference is all as we look on board. The POV camera there was a view of Rick Swanson's truck a moment ago. Basel and El Matador coming around, misses the ramp with the rear tires there. So even if it had been a little bit closer, there would have been a 2-second penalty incurred. But during semifinals, it doesn't matter about the penalty. It's basically a win or loss situation. So that's going to bring us our final round of Obsession going head-to-head against Runte in Bigfoot for the final showdown here in Roswell for round number 24 of MOD action. Swanson in Obsession, Runte in Bigfoot. Two very, very fast drivers, both forces to be reckoned with. They like to get inside each other's heads. Mentally, this is a tough game to play as well. Runty, Obsession hits the turning pole. Oh my goodness, he didn't just hit it, he ran it over. Said, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it right. So there you go, Bigfoot with the fastest time of the night yet again, besting his other time. And look at this great run by Runty, barely taps the turning pole. And man, oh man, right across the cars, a nice clean run for Runty and Bigfoot. Obsession, 0.169 reaction time. Bigfoot, yet again, a 0.043 reaction time. A great shot right off the gate. And man, I tell you what, Dan Runty, when he is in competition of MOD, he is tough to beat. And Rick Swanson is a consistently good driver, also a tough driver to beat, as you see on board his truck. Right there, Runty coming across the line. Obsession quite a ways back for that second spot finish, but it's got to make both drivers happy. So let's take a look at our standings for tonight. Bigfoot obviously on top, followed by Obsession, El Matador, King Crunch, and Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer for 5th spot. Rounding out our field of 7 is Kelvin Raymer in Natural High, collecting 12 points tonight in 6th, followed by Matt Powers in 7th, the Shattered Truck for 9 points. Obstacle course standings after 24 rounds for the season. Obsession on top, followed by Samson, Dragon Slayer, Natural High, and Spider-Man. Moving 6 through 10 now is Bigfoot in 6, followed by Monster Jerky, Public Disturbance, Iron Outlaw, and Bounty Hunter.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky and by Monstrous Displays.
All right, Rick, well, I know it's tough to come out here. Anytime Dan Runty steps to the plate, he's always a tough competitor to beat. You came out here with the Obsession. You did what you wanted to do, which was stay consistent and be in the top 2 all night long, and you did a great job of that tonight.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't come out on top, but, we'll take second. Like we said earlier, I did win. I've already got the championship, so I just got to stay focused, which was one of my concerns of being able to stay focused to do good. I knew running Dan, you had to be on it or you weren't going to happen. I came off the jump, came into the first corner, I hit the rear steering a little too soon, hit the turning post, and at that time I already seen Dan go over the car, so I figured I'd just drive on away.
Well, sometimes that's the way that it happens. You certainly can't win them all, but the season certainly is yours from consistency throughout the entire course, and congratulations on that.
Thanks. I'd like to thank my sponsors, FabTech, Amerigas, Super Chips, Chain Stuff. Without them, we can't be there, but biggest thanks has to go to my wife. She's been out here helping me. My son, my 11-year-old's been out here every day working on the truck the past 2 weeks so we can make these rounds. If it wasn't for them, I wasn't even going to be here.
Right on, Rick. Well, congratulations. Thanks for coming out tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you out there in Freestyle.
Thanks for having us, Roswell. Don't go away.
Ladies and gentlemen. Well, Dan, you did what you set out to do, which was join us in the final 2 rounds of MOD competition. You came out here tonight, proved that you were still on top of the field in obstacle course racing. I got to ask you, early on in the night, you were running like 0.12, 0.13 reaction times, and you came back, you said, you know what? I'm going slow, dude. Watch this. So what was that about?
It's just, we've worked with these lights quite a bit and done quite a few point series. Been with Bigfoot a long time, and his Bigfoot Summit truck's running good. Got the lights figured out. I can't let all my secrets out of the bag. We're playing a little different game with the lights. One of these days it's gonna bite me. I'm sure it is, but till then we're gonna keep playing it. It's working out, and the light's working with us, not against us. You got to be there at the right time and pick it up when you can.
Well, that's something that you've certainly proven that you were good at. Earlier in the year when you had that 4-round winning streak, that was one of your fortes, is being able to nail those lights right off the bat. This time around, a 0.043 reaction time. It doesn't get much better than that.
No, that's awesome. It's done well, and we play with these lights and keep going. We'll get them tomorrow, hopefully.
Right on. Dan, thanks for joining us out here with the Summit Bigfoot, and congratulations on your victory tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. A very happy and well-spoken Dan Runty and the Summit Bigfoot team takes another one for that very large trophy case I'm sure he has at home back in St. Louis. So moving on to Freestyle, and of course, to open up the show tonight, Dan Runty in Bigfoot. A nice little launch over the cars there. This is going to be a very interesting freestyle course. Not a lot of large obstacles for the guys to run over here. So Runty comes out right off the bat, hitting a couple rollers, taking it a little bit easy. Up and over the cars he goes. A great jump there, about a 40-foot long jump. Oh, way up. Look at the front wheels of Bigfoot pointing towards the sky. A great launch by Runty. I'll tell you what, this Firestone Summit truck is set up for everything. Bigfoot has got the setup to do what it takes to capitalize on racing, freestyle, obstacle course. It doesn't matter. Dan Runty is good at everything he does. So there you see a huge launch off the roller there, which they do not have the chance to do during racing because they can't get the run at it. Back up and over he goes, over the cars one more time. Nice long jump there, and again, like I mentioned, a very difficult course for freestyle for our truck drivers. There's Runty back up and over with a nice wheel stand up and over the cars. Trying to decide what to do. Don't know if we're going to go into a donut yet or not. Runty back up and over the cars. A nice clearing of the white set there. Coming around, here we go. No, not going to complete the donut that time. Up and over the blue set he goes, and boy, it almost looks like, like Dan's looking for something else to do there. Maybe hit the cars sideways or something, but nonetheless, there you have it. Dan Runty in Bigfoot, and a great night for that man. He's going to go home happy with a trophy, a win, some points, and some bragging rights out here for round 24 of MOD in Roswell, New Mexico. And there you see some of the highlights of Dan's run right now. He makes his way over those cars, back through, back up and over the cars.
Tonight's Monsters of Destruction broadcast is brought to you by Monster Jerky.
Here comes Rick Swanson in Obsession. He was your second place driver in obstacle course racing tonight. And he has got this 06 season under his belt. He's got enough points in both competitions basically to walk away with this after round 25. But we're not quite there yet. We are in the latter portion of the season. We've got one round left to go after this one. And look at Swanson, a nice launch over the cars there, a great jump. Watching that truck level out in the air is something else. Rick has really got a nice setup. And rumor has it that he is actually starting to put together a second truck that his son Eric will someday take over this truck, and Rick will drive the new truck. Haven't been able to confirm or deny those rumors in the grapevine yet, but we'll find out for you sometime this year or next, and let you know the scoop as it comes available to us. Here you see Rick Swanson doing a great freestyle run right now. He is happy to be out here in Roswell, New Mexico. Coming back around the far side, I'm really surprised that we have not seen a donut yet from, oh, and a great launch there. Frequent flyer miles just racked up for Swanson. Nice launch over the white cars, a lot of airtime. And anytime you get a hang time of about a second or more in these trucks, you are way up in the air, because at 10,500 pounds on average, these things drop to the earth pretty dang quick via the help of gravity. So let's see if Swanson's going to do that famous donut. Here we go. He's trying to get it going. This Roswell dirt has got a lot of clay base to it, and look at that. Swanson has got the truck moving, not as fast as he normally goes, but was able to get a good donut in there for this Roswell crowd. Up and over the white cars one more final time, and there you have it. Stops in the center. Hollywood Rick Swanson has had a great freestyle run and a great racing event here tonight in both courses. So as Swanson moves his way back to the pits there, we'll take a look at some of the highlights from his run here in just a moment. Here you can see when he first came out onto the course, a great little launch over the white cars there. Getting the front tires way up there. A nice donut put into action there. It's awful tough to get these trucks moving on this dirt with that donut. But Swanson doing a great job keeping that thing centered.
Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company.
Kelvin Raymer. I drive the Natural High monster truck, and my specializing is freestyle and more particularly the wheelies. What makes a truck good at wheeling is the positioning of weight. You know, in the front of the truck up here, we don't have batteries, hydraulics, steering. We've mounted everything in the rear of the truck. The motor sets back a little further, the batteries are back there, the rear hydraulics back there. But it takes more than just setting up a truck for doing wheelies. You got to learn timing. And I was lucky enough to have Sam Sturgis teach me about the timing of the throttle and hitting the bumps and lining up correctly. You need something that's a little abrupt when you hit. It stands you straight up. And 5 feet or so before you hit the object, you need to stab the throttle, get a good bounce, and as she comes down, you need to let it plant. You got to have a suspension that actually plants rather than bounces. Some people think you need a stiff suspension, and I find if I stiffen up too much, it doesn't work very well. You actually need to have the truck come down, plant, then you need to get into the throttle, and it picks right up and stands right up. The second you get it stood up, you got to back out, because it doesn't take much throttle at all to keep it going once you get it going. And then you're just sitting there for the ride and hoping that everybody moves all the fences and objects out of your way. Well, when I first started doing the wheelies, I'd actually stand it up so hard that I almost go over backwards. So the wheelie bar helped me learn. Now we don't use it as much as we used to. Now I do another trick with this that I started doing is I'll stand up real hard and it'll actually walk up on the wheelie bar and take all 4 wheels off the ground for a few minutes, a few seconds, and then it comes back down and I'll take off in my wheelie. So I'm just sort of using it to rock back onto now, every once in a while to stand it up.
So it's time for our final truck of the evening, Kelvin Raymer in Natural High. Be interested to see what he's got tonight. See if we're going to put that wheelie bar on the back of his truck to use or not. I don't know if you'd necessarily call it a wheelie bar, maybe a wheelie frame or a brace frame of some sorts. But nonetheless, it's all beat up when you get an up-close and personal look at his truck from trying to get that thing wheelied. And there he goes. Tried to get the launch, did not get the front end to hit first, which is exactly what he looks for that slap wheelie setup. But rest assured, Kelvin Raymer will be trying a wheelie tonight. I'm almost positive. It's just runs in his blood as a monster truck driver. Loves the freestyle, loves the arena here in Roswell. It's nice and short in some areas, but long in others. If you do get a good wheelie going, you can actually make it out there. And there we go, trying to get it up. Oh, a long wheelie, but not a very tall one as he heads towards the fence there. Comes back around to the infield. Let's see if we're going to get a donut. It looks like Raymer is going into his famous 3-wheel donut. Let's see if he's going to get it going. He's slowly working his way in, trying to get that wheel off the ground, and then he drops the hammer and secures it. And here we go. That wheel is off the ground. Raymer is in his donut, and he is going hard and fast right now. The truck is moving, but just does not stop. Raymer with a great donut there. You can see the rear steering likes to lock in one position, does not recenter quickly after doing a donut for that long. But Raymer's got it recentered now, working his way onto the white cars. A great launch with the front wheels way over. Now up and over the roller. I wonder what Kelvin Raymer has next. Got to have an ace up his sleeve somewhere. See if we can get a wheelie out of him. But no, not yet. He's going to give it one more shot here. Let's see. Oh, almost. Boy, you could tell it wanted to, but the truck was just going a little too fast to be able to bring that front end way up and touch the rear on the ground.
And there you have it, ladies.
And that is going to do it for Raymer. For truck number 18, the Natural High out of Watsonville, California. A great run by Raymer. Let's take a look at some of his freestyle highlights here as he works his way over the white cars. Back around yet again, a nice launch over the white cars for a second time. And here is that infamous 3-wheel Kelvin Raymer donut. Living the dream indeed. A great finishing move for a great show here in round number 24. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here in Roswell, New Mexico. This is Kevin Hynes signing off. We'll see you next time here on Monsters of Destruction.